Yes, now ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Tom Swan's YouTube channel. I can't believe I've left it this long to watch NXT and left it this long to make a video on it, but I've finally done it. Story of every week, story of my life. I leave it way too late to watch NXT, but I'm glad I did. Once again, I am glad that I watched it. Now, immediately kicking off the show, Javon Evans burst his way out and he said, nah, we're not wasting no time. Josh Briggs, get out here. Let's have the match. About the feud they've been having the last few weeks. And it was a great match. Fantastic match to open the show. And what ended the match was Josh Briggs countering Javon Evans with the chain wrapped around his fist and punched him in the jaw. Yet again, going after that jaw that Ethan Page damaged. And he got the win over Javon Evans. While I'm happy for Josh Briggs, I am happy because we look at literal months ago, Josh Briggs could not hold his own on a mic. He was alright in the ring, but again, he always needed that tag team partner. You need someone else to assist him in the spotlight. In these last few weeks, since he's turned on Yoshiki Inamura, he's had his story with Obafemi, and now he's got the story with Javon Evans. He's got nothing, like the real him has got nothing but more confident. And he can hold his own on the mic now. He can hold his own in the ring, and just his in-ring presence. You know, you can tell he's not nervous, you can tell he's not overthinking it. It's coming more naturally, and I love it. They've just turned Josh Briggs into a certified superstar now. But again, I'm just sad that Javon Evans is losing again. Like, they make Javon Evans lose a whole lot. Like, the story with Obafemi shouldn't be done. It shouldn't just be a one and done. And I'm hoping to go back to it. But why is Javon Evans losing again? I'm aware it was cheating. And I'm aware he's supposed to be an underdog, but like he's supposed to be one of the top dogs as well in NXT. And I really feel like they need to stop having this guy lose, because it's actually getting annoying now. I don't want to see him lose. That's really painful to see him lose, to be honest. But it is what it is. A couple minor things, some backstage things. I mean, we had more Lola Vice background videos, just building her up for No Mercy, which again I said, they made that match too early for No Mercy, because even though Lola Vice is the #1 contender for the NXT Championship, Jacy Jayne's not even feuding with her. Jacy Jayne is doing her own thing, which I'll get into later on, which is crazy, because they're going to be fighting at the next PLE, and they're not even feuding. We're just going back to Lola Vice's roots, which is crazy. But it is what it is, I suppose. Lexis King is still going on about Miles Bourne. I mean, he's going backstage and he tried to get in Charlie Dempsey's ear about Miles Bourne, and then that's when Miles Bourne burst in the door. The lights went out, coincidentally. We heard some chair shots, and it was Miles Bourne taking out Lexis King. I mean, obviously, it's payback for what he did in the blindfold match, and they're still going to continue it. And as long as they're doing something with Miles Bourne, something with Tavion Hyde, something with Charlie Dempsey, I'm glad that they're still doing that, which is not... We can't really say the same for the D'Angelo family either, so I'm glad they're doing something. But speaking of Tavion Hyde, he had the flag match with Ethan Page, which he did eventually win, which obviously is the right move, because you want USA, don't you? But obviously it wasn't for the title, and I'm just wondering, are they going to do a title match somewhere down the line? Probably not. Why? Because guess what? After Tavion Hyde won, and Ethan Page was laying in the ring, we had a random comeback of Tyler Breeze. I mean, I say it's random, but they have NXT Homecoming next week, which is obviously why they did it. But I don't know why. I must have missed it, or it must have been in an ad break, but apparently Tyler Breeze challenged Ethan Page for the North American title, and that is happening next week at NXT Homecoming, which obviously I don't mind, because it's Tyler Breeze. He came with the full gimmick, you know. It wasn't new Tyler Breeze like JDC, who was obviously formerly known as Fandango. It was full Tyler Breeze, and I love it. So we're getting that next week. But Tavion Hyde needs a shot. Him and thingy, forgot her name, had the match with Ethan Page and Chelsea Green at Heatwave. He's now beat Ethan Page one-on-one, even though it had a stipulation. Give him a shot at the title. Doesn't have to win it, just give him a shot. Put him in the spotlight for just a small amount of time. Just a small amount of time. What could it hurt? Nothing. It's not going to hurt anything, so do it. And make it make sense. Do you get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Fantastic. What else happened? We had Hank and Tank challenge one more time for the NXT tag titles. And they actually dominated Dog State. Like, Dog State was struggling, which is crazy, because, again, I'm questioning the booking here of WWE. Dog State are meant to be a dominant force. They're meant to be 4 men in a faction who win by numbers. Yet the two, Hank and Tank, were dominating Dog State. And then even when they were dominating Dog State, they still got help from Joe Hendry. And Dog State managed to get the win, thankfully, but it was from a cheeky roll-up. Like, what are we doing? That doesn't scream NXT champion, and that doesn't scream dominant force that is to be reckoned with. Like, are you mad? But anyway, I'm glad they won the titles. Can Hank and Tank stop chasing the titles now? I'm actually bored of it. Genuinely bored of it. Another exciting thing that happened that is leading to NXT Homecoming. We had DIY come out, celebrate 10 years since their first match. Last week it was 10 years since their debut. This week it was 10 years since their first match. Trick Williams came out and he was talking about a favour with Ava in the middle of Ricky Saints and Obafemi having an argument, which obviously we understand. They're going to do something next week. But Trick Williams came out as TNA World Champion. And he said he didn't come alone. And out came Carmelo Hayes. Now, this is where I question, why don't NXT have bigger crowds? Because although it was Carmelo Hayes, the pop was barely there. Like, Tyler Breeze had no reaction. Carmelo Hayes, people were happy to see him. And quite surprised, actually, but happy. But the pop, despite the fact you can see people are trying, it just wasn't what it could have been. And obviously this is poetic because Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams used to be running buddies. Carmelo Hayes is on the main roster. He left after feuding with Trick Williams after I had a fallout, and now Trick Williams is on top. And before he could be out there for Trick Williams, he had to address Trick Williams. He had to address the fact that they left things on a bad note. He had to address the fact that Trick Williams walks around calling himself the man and insulting Carmelo Hayes. He put respect on Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano's name, saying this is the house that they built. He put respect on his own name, saying I'm the man who renovated it, and then pointed at Trick Williams and said you're the man squatting in it and rent is due. And I love that. And I'm also love the fact that even though they're heels on the main roster, they come back to home, they come to NXT, and they are baby faces. It just shows that they are human, and that actually, like, there's if you're an intelligent human, you like that. You understand? But anyway, Trick Williams then obviously addressed what Carmelo Hayes said, and he said, look, you're right. They built the house. You renovated it. And I may be squatting, but I'll squat when I want to squat. And despite the fact that, you know, they built it, you renovated it, it's still my damn house. If I'm living here and I'm paying rent, it's my damn house. Side rant aside, they made up, DIY, Carmelo, Trick Williams. Next week, NXT Homecoming tag team match. I love it. And do you know what? I don't want that to be the end of it. Because why not have a fallout from this tag team match, make it a fatal four-way? That would be beautiful for No Mercy. Put the TNA World title on the line. I mean, I know 4 WWE superstars fighting for the TNA World title wouldn't necessarily be a thing. Fine. But it's interesting. So, I want to see it. One more thing to talk about before I get into bigger stories. The Speed Championship tournament continues now. Obviously, we know the tournament is just 2 matches. And then we have those 2 winners face off. And then the winner will face Soul No Mercy. Last week, we had Candice LeRae beating someone from TNA. This week, we had Lainey Reed beating someone from AAA. So I like what they've done. They've got a main roster superstar, an NXT superstar, TNA superstar and AAA superstar. However, WWE, despite the fact you're including other promotions in this, we see right through you. You had the TNA superstar lose to your main roster superstar and your AAA superstar lose to your NXT superstar. Dirty business, especially when it makes no sense. Last week, fair enough, Candice LeRae, established main roster superstar, have her win. This week, it makes no sense. Lainey Reed has done nothing but lose on this main roster. I'm sorry, it's facts. Recently, what she done? Nout. But yet you have this girl, Apache from AAA, who I've got no clue about her. I don't know how good she is, how over she is at AAA. But she's supposed to be wrestling Natalya at Worlds Collide that Friday. So why do you have her lose? You're not building that matchup because Natalya's not got no heat behind her. So why is Apache now losing? Makes no sense. So I believe next week we're going to have Lainey Reed versus Candice LeRae, and the winner of that will face Sol Ruka for the Speed Championship at No Mercy. One more question. We said the Speed Championships were moving to NXT, and I prefer that over X. No one uses X. Fuck X, right? Where's the Men's Speed Championship? Is that moving to NXT? Is that staying on X? Or X like, right, you can have the women's one, we keep the men's one? If so, that's stupid. Just move them both to NXT. Fuck off your X deal. No one gives a shit. Yeah? I want the men's tournament there as well. Exactly. Anyway, I would prefer Candice LeRae over Lainey Reed for the Speed Championship. Just being honest. Being completely honest. She's on the main roster and she doesn't even get used. Lainey Reed has plenty of time. Let's put Candice LeRae in that spot, please. Thank you very much. Now, obviously, I mentioned Obafemi and Ricky Saints. Well, Ava made it clear, and originally I thought this was random, but obviously now I realise it is for NXT Homecoming. She said Oba Femi and Ricky Sainz will discuss their differences on the Grayson Waller effect. So Grayson Waller will be back next week and be doing a Grayson Waller effect. I'm just wondering on the main roster when Austin Theory's going to come back, because obviously Grayson Waller ditched him and now he's bad-mouthing him. They're still naming him on TV, so he can't be gone from WWE, so I'm wondering what they're going to be doing with him. And I'm hoping it's a sign that they're putting Austin Theory over. Please. Anywho. Anything else left to talk about bar the main event? I don't think so. Let's get into the main event. So, the main event was the triple threat tag team match. We had Zaruka versus The Culling versus Fatal Influence. The winners will face the women's tag team champion Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. As Ava said, NXT deserved the next shot. Now, the interesting things in this match built plenty of stories. All the tag teams set up the fact that Zaruka accidentally hit Zarya with a Soul Snatcher, and then the other teams capitalised on this and got Zarya and Zaruka eliminated, which I thought was stupid, because how many times do we have fatal four-ways that aren't elimination matches? But now when we have a triple threat elimination match, it seems stupid, but it is what it is. They got eliminated. I'm mad, but I'm not, because I love The Culling, and Zaruka has the title. Plus Zarya doesn't do nothing, but this is a great way to build their story, so I like what they did there. And then it was between The Culling and Fatal Influence, and The Culling eventually got the win, which I'm happy for, because they need to do something. And I feel like with how Tatum Paxley's joined The Culling, this is the right direction for them. I also think this match should happen at NXT Homecoming, given that Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss both came from NXT. Charlotte Flair, former women's NXT champion, so should happen. But I don't know. I don't think it is. It might be No Mercy. No Mercy might be better. Who knows? But after the match, JC Jane continued to berate Fallon Henley and Jasmine Nix for losing that match. That was until Stephanie Vaquer came back. And we're all like, what the fuck? And originally I thought, yes, this is why she wasn't in Monday Night Raw, because they had a bigger idea. Stephanie Vaquer came out, said, look, you're sitting here saying you're the greatest of all time. And I'll be honest, originally I thought Fallon Henley or Jasmine Nix was going to turn heel on JC Jane, and that was going to set up a match for Homecoming or something, or No Mercy. Because, she just sat there berating them all the time and they don't do nothing about it. What we're doing. And, Stephanie Vaquer said, I was a double champ. I was NXT champ. I beat you, Fallon Henley. And I did it all by myself, basically taking jigs of JC Jane. And then she said, what time is it? And Tiffany Stratton came out. Obviously, the WWE Women's Champion. So this is much higher ranking than JC Jane. And she let that be known. She also mentioned how she's beat Charlotte Flair. She's beat Trish Stratus. She's beat Jade Cargill. This is way more important than anything JC Jane has ever done. So JC Jane can't be the greatest NXT Women's Champion of all time, because Tiffany Stratton herself was an NXT Women's Champion, and look at what she's achieved. And that's when JC Jane said, look, I can't remember the word she used, but she basically said, you are things of the past, and you're trying to come back and try to be cool again, but it's not happening. And that's when Rhea Ripley came out. And then the NXT crowd erupted. That was the best eruption of the night. Oh my God. It was insane. And what I actually like about this, which I don't know if too many people noticed, Stephanie Vaquer was the most recent NXT call-up. Her and Julia at the same time. She was the most recent NXT call-up. So that was that's like one generation, the modern generation of women in NXT. Tiffany Stratton was a bit before Stephanie Vaquer. And when Stephanie Vaquer came, that was when Tiffany Stratton, it went up. And Rhea Ripley was even further back. So I like that they've went into different generations of NXT. They're not pushing it all the way back. And, they're not pushing it further back than like 2018. Because Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, you got all them. No, they're not going further back than Rhea Ripley. Which is fair enough. I mean, they got DIY. DIY, I'd argue, are the greatest of all time in NXT. Tommaso Ciampa specifically. If not him, Adam Cole, but WWE aren't going to have Adam Cole. So this sets up a 6-woman tag match for NXT Homecoming, which is great. That is great. And obviously Rhea Ripley, Stephanie Vaquer and Tiffany Stratton aren't going to lose. They are the 3 most liked women in WWE. I know there's Io Sky in that conversation, but I think Stephanie Vaquer's rise is quicker than Io Sky's, and these three probably sell the most merchandise out of all the women in WWE probably. So I'm excited for that. Match of the night, easily the triple threat match. It was a fantastic match. Can't complain. Genuinely, like, the sequences were impeccable. So that was great. Episode of NXT. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.